Easter is a tremendous day of celebration for the child of God. You know, really, it is the day that makes sense out of every other day. For this is the day when we get to celebrate not just Jesus' death, but his resurrection. And the incredible thing is he predicted it. He said, they're going to take my life, and in 3 days, I'll rise from the dead. And because he did exactly what he said, it authenticates, it validates everything else that Jesus said and everything else that Jesus taught. As a matter of fact, Paul would write a letter to the Roman church and say this, that Jesus was declared with power to be God's only Son by virtue of his resurrection. Strong words from the man who would, within just a few years, face his own death in the city of Rome for proclaiming the new life that was in Jesus Christ. You know, many of us have faced death this last year. For some of us, it's been when the doctor sat across the table and looked at us and said, I've got bad news. For some of us, it was kneeling by the bedside of a loved one who were taking their final breaths. When you come that close to death, the words that Jesus is about to speak take on a whole new meaning. It's recorded in John chapter 11 that Jesus' good friend Lazarus died after a sudden illness. He was entombed in the city of Bethany, just a few miles from Jerusalem. When Jesus arrived in the city of Bethany, he was confronted in succession by Lazarus' two sisters, Mary and Martha. But both of them came to him with the same question. Lord, if you would have only been here, then our brother would not have died. We could paraphrase that in our culture to something like this. Lord, where were you when my loved one was dying? Why didn't you show up? Why didn't you do something? I don't understand your silence at this point in my life. It was against that backdrop, the backdrop of the entombment of his friend Lazarus, quite possibly in caves like this that are behind us, that Jesus spoke the next of the I am statements when he said, I am the resurrection and I am the life. Whoever believes in me, even if he dies, will live forever. Tremendous words of hope and comfort for us. It means that death is not the last word, that the hope is ours of resurrection in Jesus Christ. But in that confrontation with Mary, Jesus asks a very penetrating question. And he says, do you believe this? And what he was asking her was, are you willing to risk your life and your eternity on the fact that I am the resurrection and that I alone can give you life? It's that same penetrating question that Jesus would ask us this morning, this Easter morning. Do you believe that I am the resurrection, that I alone am life? Are you willing to risk your future, your eternity, and put it in my hands? And even if I do that, what's it mean? What are the implications of that for me, for my family, for my future? Am I willing to take that risk? Well, this Easter morning, Jesus encourages us and invites us to take that risk. So turn with me to John chapter 11, and we'll focus on this next I am statement when Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life.